Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and here we are with my April plan with me. So, long story short, me and April, we don't really get along too well, just because I feel like every time it's this time of the year, I just don't really know what to do for a theme, because April isn't really spring where I live, but it's not winter either. It's like a very weird in between, and I always feel like I have some type of art block. I guess you can call it like an art block. So I really know that last year I did not enjoy my theme. I think I just wasn't like in a really good headspace and kind of treated it like an adult coloring book, as weird as that sounds. But basically, this year round, I wanted to do something that I guess a lot of people wouldn't really do for April. So I ended up doing this tarot card, magical, enchanted type of theme. And it's pretty odd to think about that for April. You would think that's something you would do for October. But I pretty much was trying to figure out what April was all about. And when I was looking up on Google, it did say that April was like the month of like wandering or being lost in a sense. And I was like, okay, I kind of can see that. So I really knew I wanted to do some type of tarot card theme. So hence, with the idea of April being quote unquote lost and wandering, I ended up doing the moon card. So I'm not like super into tarot cards. I used to do it as like a hobby back in my high school days, and it was just more for fun and just really cool interpretations. But the moon card is more of a, I guess, mindset idealistic approach to it. So basically it has to do with like emotions, deep thinking, feeling lost, feeling kind of wary. So I didn't want to basically draw the card pretty, sad in a way. So I did something really different. I kind of did this style, I guess, like a anime girl, you can say, almost like a Sakura card capture moment. But instead, I tried to make most of the imagery kind of pop out of the card itself. It's very weird, but the way that I achieved this was just by using two different thicknesses of my with my micron pens, and kind of made some of the outlining a little bit more bolder than the other, so it looked like it's popping out a bit. I wanted to keep it very delicate and soft. I really had no approach to this theme, I will be quite honest. All I know was that I wanted to do it pretty airy, very delicate, because I still wanted to, give a little homage to April being a spring month. So I tried to keep a lot of white space this time around, but as the theme kind of carried on, I think it got a little bit too dark with the colors towards my weekly spread. But I really do like how this turned out. Totally something different than what I would do. I do like it, but I don't know if I love it. I think that's the better question. I don't know if I love it. I was super excited to use these stamps. I got them off of Amazon, and I wanted to incorporate more little, I guess, elements of delicateness and cutesiness without doing too many doodles. I was actually quite afraid of having my April theme look too close to my January theme, because I had, I guess, very similar like colors going on, and definitely the butterflies was a staple in that theme. So to kind of minimize it and not have the butterflies kind of overpower the look, I ended up doing like this very light gray ink pad. But I wish I had a darker gray, because I felt like black would have been way too harsh. But I really did like how it looks, and if anything, I can leave the link down below. They're actually pretty good stamps for coming off of Amazon. I was really hesitant to do it, just because I've ordered stamps before and they were okay, but you can tell like they're Amazon stamps. The quality isn't the best, but it still gets the job done. These actually look pretty good, except the box. The box is kind of sus. But besides that, I have no complaints. When I tell you that I fell in love with this quote, I'm being so serious. I fell in love with this quote. So I have been really into more simple quotes where it just looks a lot more cleaner and simplistic. So this one here, she is some magic, some chaos, and some poetry. I really resonated with this because lately I feel like my brain has been all over the place, just with a lot of things coming up in my personal life that I wasn't really expecting. And it's nothing like crazy or bad. It's just that when you don't plan for something, I don't like spontaneous things to happen unless I'm the one that's like controlling it in a way. It's weird. Basically, like, I'm one of those people, I would love to throw you a surprise birthday party. Like, yes, that is so spontaneous for you. I want to be able to help in that whole process and creation. But if you were going to throw me a surprise party, I feel like I would kind of lose my mind a little bit. But that's just because I like to know when things are going to happen. Maybe it's part of my personality trait where I like things kind of like cookie cutter, planned, structured. It's very weird. If anything, if you don't know what I'm talking about the like 16 personality test that you find like online, and you can find your personality trait. I don't remember exactly which one I had, but it's called logistician. So basically super structured, super like by the book, cookie cutter. Would you say controlling? I don't think I'm controlling. I think it's just that I like to have my stuff planned, hence why bullet journaling actually works really good for me. And also it's a good way to actually brush up on my art skills, to be honest. Out of everything in this spread, the hardest thing was the hands. I had to definitely look at a lot of references, even my own hands, if that makes any sense. But I wanted to still give this magical kind of ambiance. I guess not more on the side of magic, but more on the enchantedness of it all. So I wanted to keep things very simple. That's why my calendar is only 1 page instead of 2, because I just felt like the less pages I would need for the month, the better, as odd as that may seem. So I ended up making my playlist spread right next to my calendar. I don't know why, I kind of just felt the need to. Sometimes I get very bored easily, so instead of always having like my habit tracker or my mood tracker next to certain things, I'll switch up how things lay out. So this time around I did a playlist, and I did 6 instead of my usual like 4 or 5, just because I had enough space to do so. And I wanted to have the like hands present the music. It's very weird where my mind was kind of going. But as a fun fact, when I was printing out like all the cover art or cover photos to the songs, my printer was actually running out of ink, and I didn't know this. So when it printed like a pinkish purple overcast. But I guess it works with the color combinations that I was doing. All the colors that I was using as my palette is actually the shadowing underneath the little playlist button. Not buttons, but like the shadowing. I don't know what to explain it, but basically it was like a golden yellow, pastel pinks, a mint green, a very, very soft blue, and then this like muted purple color. So that was pretty much like my main core colors for this theme, even though it looks like a lot is going on. Okay, so out of everything in this setup, I really loved how the cover page turned out. However, this here has to be my favorite. And surprisingly enough, this was actually the very last thing I ended up doing because I just didn't know how I wanted to kind of present my habit tracker and my mood tracker. I didn't want to do too much with doodling because it's already very doodle heavy. So I was trying to find a way to still have that enchantedness, but with more simplicity than what I've already been doing. So pretty much I ended up having my habits on one side and then my mood tracker on the other side. This here is a little bit more geared towards like the zodiac signs and the constellations with the stars and everything like that. And I did do some of the zodiac constellations as like the background. So some of them are part of my, I guess you can say, birth chart in a way. So on the habit side, you do see a Leo because my moon is in Leo. And then I believe I did Cancer at the bottom. I don't have any Cancer in my birth chart, but it was the easiest thing I could fit in that spot. On the other side, this is where it gets a little bit complicated, and I try to make it as easy as possible. I wanted to make it look like almost as if it was a birth chart. And so I did a lot of circles, I did a lot of lines, but basically this is my mood tracker. So each day I will basically put a dot on how I'm feeling, and based on how I'm feeling, it's associated with these colors. So pink would be like super happy, the teal would be like I'm okay, and then the silver is like, oh yeah, not having a good day. So I basically did doodles around my tracker with stars, feathers, and some of the constellations. So the other ones that I was doing, not were doing, sometimes I stutter, but if anything, my zodiac sign is that my sun is in Libra, my ascendant or my rising is in Capricorn, and then I don't remember what that constellation at the bottom left is. I'm terrible. I think it might be Scorpio. I don't know. I'm doing this audio like days after I've sketched everything out. If it is Scorpio, I probably should check it because I'm so lazy at doing things like this. But if it is, it makes sense because I have a ton of Scorpio in my birth chart, hence emotional conflict. But that's just me. So by this point, I felt kind of burnt out a little bit. I felt like the creative juices were just starting to dwindle down. And I didn't really know how I wanted to do my weekly spread, but I feel like that's always the case no matter what month I'm doing. So I ended up sticking back to how I usually do my weekly setups, which is just 1 week per page. Last month's weekly setup, it did work, trust me. It saves me a lot of time on basically having to make weekly spreads. However, I felt kind of bored with it, and it's actually pretty hard to do any other theme after because of all the chunkiness that I cut out. It's very weird. So basically, I don't know if I'll ever do it again. It was a nice try, a nice concept, but I think I still prefer doing weekly spreads like 1 week at a time instead of a whole big thing at one point. So I would say that if you are pressed for time, definitely do Dutch doors for your weekly spreads, but if not, then honestly you're not missing too much. I did it just to try it out, and now I can cross that off my list. I brought back the tarot card drawing because I didn't want to overfill my monthly setup with so many of them, but I still wanted to kind of recenter everything, and I honestly didn't know what to do in terms of like what kind of card should I do this time. So I wanted to basically do the artwork super different than what is portrayed in the actual illustrations itself. And by kind of switching it up, I had an idea of wanting to do fish. Super weird, but it kind of just resonated with my mind. So I didn't know if I wanted to kind of portray the Lovers card or the World card. And I eventually ended up doing the World card just because I wanted the play on idea of like, you know, the good and the evil, the black and the white, the yin and the yang, all that type of, I guess, like double-sidedness to the world. I wanted to portray that, but with fish. It's very weird. That, and then I guess I got a little bit in my mind when I was thinking about like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love that show, and I was thinking about the episode where they were in the water tribe with the moonfishes. That's like literally my mind went straight to that, and I was like, yes, I love that, let's do that. And I think I did a pretty good job. I didn't want to do like a traditional black and white type of look to it because it would actually clash too much with my colors, so I ended up doing like a white and blue for one fish and then a gray and pinkish one as the other opposite end to it. And I like how it turned out. It's not like too crazy, but it's just perfect enough. Yeah, that's my crazy theme for April. So if you guys made it this far into the video, make sure to thumbs it up. And if you actually have any ideas for any future themes for April, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm super curious, because I feel like I get art blocks for April. It's very weird. But until next time, bye!